The story takes place in Western California in 2022. The protagonist, Haywood, and his father run a large horse ranch. They have been living here for years, making a living by training horses, a skill passed down through generations. After discussing work with his father, Haywood, carrying a suitcase, walks towards home. At this moment, a strange noise comes from the sky followed by countless pieces of metal falling down. Unfortunately, his father is hit by one of the pieces and falls off his horse. By the time Haywood gets him to the hospital, it's too late. No one would have thought that a coin could kill a man. The police provide an explanation, speculating that it was garbage dropped from a passing airplane. After his father's death, Haywood and his sister inherit the ranch, primarily supplying horses for Hollywood movies. However, an accident during a casting session scares the horses and ruins the job opportunity. On their way back, the siblings find themselves in trouble. Their ancestors had maintained a collaboration with Hollywood for many years, and it was unthinkable that they might destroy this legacy themselves. To sustain the basic operations of the ranch, they decide to sell a few horses to get through the tough times. Soon after, they arrive at a nearby amusement park, which is also the place where they plan to sell the horses. The place is bustling and lively, with a festive atmosphere that brings a sense of childhood joy. Haywood urges his sister to keep up and reminds her that they are here for business, not for fun. The young Asian man named Ricky, who is the owner of the amusement park, agrees to the proposed price surprisingly quickly. At this moment, Haywood does not realize that this man harbors a secret. Later that evening, back at home, Haywood's sister points to a photo from their childhood. It reminds her that she should have been the one to train that particular horse, but their father had given that responsibility to Haywood instead. Haywood does not want his sister to blame their father, as it was a tradition in their family's horse training practice. While they are talking, a horse suddenly escapes from the stable. Haywood goes outside to check and sees the horse running madly into the distance, but he loses sight of it. Suddenly, a strange noise fills the sky again, and this time, an object resembling a UFO appears and then disappears. After returning home, Haywood shares this bizarre occurrence with his sister, who sees it as a business opportunity. If the strange object in the sky is indeed a UFO, capturing high-definition footage of it could lead to a windfall. The next day, Haywood and his sister purchase high-definition equipment and hire a professional named Angel to set up cameras around the ranch. Under Angel's guidance, they quickly install numerous cameras aimed at the sky. Angel is puzzled why they are pointing the cameras upwards. His sister manages to sneak a fake horse from the amusement park back to the ranch. As Angel is leaving, he tries to ask about their true intentions, but Haywood's sister dismisses him with a few words. That night, another horse escapes. When Haywood goes to retrieve it, the familiar strange noise sounds again, and he witnesses a terrifying scene. The fake horse they had stolen is being sucked up by a gigantic creature. Back inside, they check the surveillance footage, but every time something crucial happens, the equipment mysteriously loses power. The next day, Haywood's sister contacts a famous photographer with the intention of using his hand-operated equipment. By now, the siblings have concluded that whenever the UFO appears, all electrical devices stop working, so they need to find another way to outsmart it. At that moment, Angel rushes back. He had secretly kept remote access to their surveillance and discovered something unusual. Using a speed viewing mode on the surveillance footage, he notices a cloud hovering over the ranch that never moves. They speculate that the UFO is hiding in that cloud, but this alone doesn't prove anything. They need clear evidence to confirm the presence of a UFO. Thus, Angel becomes a new ally for the siblings. Meanwhile, Ricky, the amusement park owner, reminisces about his childhood. In 1986, a sensational animal attack occurred in the United States when a trained chimpanzee suddenly went berserk during a live show. Ricky, who was hiding under a table at the time, witnessed the entire ordeal. Remarkably, the chimpanzee, instead of harming him, extended a fist towards him in a gesture of friendship. This incident made Ricky realize his talent for animal training, which led to his current success. Today, Ricky is convinced that he has a telepathic connection with animals, and he intends to summon the UFO using this ability. Ricky has been aware of the UFO's existence for some time and has been feeding it the horses bought from Haywood. Believing he has a magical touch, Ricky thinks if he could tame the rampaging chimpanzee in 1986, he can also tame this extraterrestrial visitor. As the show is about to start, a monstrous roar echoes from a distance and a massive object enveloped in clouds slowly approaches. Everyone at the venue is stunned by the sight, before Ricky can react. The next moment, as the UFO's hatch opens, everyone present is sucked into it. It turns out this is not a UFO but a monster that swallows everyone and continues to secrete digestive fluids, slowly dissolving people amidst screams and wails. The camera cuts to the farm, where everyone is busy adjusting the equipment. A flyer appears, advertising the amusement park's Summon the Alien show. Haywood, sensing something is terribly wrong, hurries to see what's happening. Upon arriving at the now deserted amusement park, the scene is eerily silent, clearly having undergone a major incident. Following the trail to Ricky's performance area, the horses are still standing in their stalls. Just as Haywood is about to lead a horse away, the UFO reappears in the sky and moves towards him with incredible speed. The immense suction catches Haywood off guard, knocking him unconscious. When Haywood awakens, he finds it's already evening. He loads his horses into the trailer and hurriedly calls his sister, informing her that the so-called UFO is not an alien spacecraft but a monster. Judging from the scene, this creature has devoured everyone at the amusement park. Suddenly, the power at home goes out, and the phone signal is lost, indicating that the monster is heading towards their home. Haywood has a foreboding feeling and frantically rushes back. Meanwhile, just as Angel is about to leave the farm, he notices something strange and decides to return. He hears terrifying screams coming from outside, followed by eerie crying sounds that seem to emanate from directly above the house, perhaps from those being digested by the monster, resulting in chilling, horrific screams. Minutes later, the cries abruptly stop, and blood rains down on the windows, likely the undigested remnants the alien monster is excreting. The terrifying noises scare Angel, and Haywood's sister is equally distressed. Haywood arrives and, looking up, immediately ducks back into his car, inadvertently revealing his position. The monster then drops the plastic fake horse onto his car, apparently unable to digest it and thus returning it this way. As the house lights slowly come back on, indicating the monster might have left, the sky begins to lighten slightly, but this does not ease their vigilance. Haywood quietly approaches Angel's car, then opens the door and signals to the two inside. His sister and Angel quickly run over. Just then, the monster reappears from the clouds, and Haywood, using his horse training experience, bows his head. In the animal kingdom, direct eye contact is seen as a challenge, but surprisingly, this tactic also works on the monster, which does not linger and flies away. Moments later, Haywood starts the car and drives away from the ranch, the group escaping to the city to celebrate their narrow escape, no longer dreaming of riches. However, Haywood feels unresolved. The monster not only killed his father but also destroyed countless innocent lives. Now, because of the fake horse incident, it has taken its anger out on the ranch, ruining the house and damaging the car, so it must be eliminated. On the fourth day, they return to the ranch, and the photographer they contacted, Antlers, has been waiting there for a long time. Indeed a master. Antlers immediately notices something off. He observes a cloud in the sky that hasn't moved at all, indicating something strange is definitely happening there. For safety, and to capture the creature on camera, Antlers comes up with a plan. He will assist in filming with a hand-operated camera, while Angel uses an electronic camera. They will stealthily film from a nearby hill, and then, at the farm, set up plastic dolls driven by electricity every 100 meters, monitored by Haywood's sister through surveillance. As soon as the creature appears, they can immediately detect it and use walkie-talkies to report its position. Moreover, based on the creature's aversion to plastic horses, Antlers has Haywood's sister sew a string of flags into Haywood's bag, and Haywood, riding a horse as bait, will lure the creature into attacking him. On the fifth day, once everything is prepared, Antlers and Angel take their positions in their ambush spot, and Haywood starts riding around the farm on horseback. At that moment, a motorcyclist suddenly enters, claiming to be a popular social media influencer. He insists that he is traveling on a public road and is there to capture video about the mysterious disappearances at the nearby amusement park, which has been causing a stir online. Despite the sister's attempts to persuade him to leave, the influencer refuses and speeds off with a roar from his motorcycle. Unexpectedly, the loud noise attracts the monster, and as the plastic dolls begin to fall over, it becomes clear that the creature has set its sights on him. Before the influencer gets very far, he crashes, and Haywood, despite the danger, rushes to check on him, but as he is about to help the influencer up, Haywood sees in the reflection of the helmet that the monster is approaching. Consequently, Haywood is forced to abandon the man and flee on horseback. Lying on the ground, the confused influencer complains about Haywood's lack of assistance. Just as the monster swoops down and swallows him whole, the sky then fills with terrifying screams, a gruesome scene perfectly captured by Antlers. Meanwhile, Haywood continues to ride frantically, but the monster relentlessly pursues him. Realizing he cannot escape, Haywood bravely pulls out the flags sewn by his sister, and when the monster sees the flags on the horse's rear, it remembers the unpleasant experience of swallowing the plastic horse and decides not to ingest Haywood. This quick thinking saves Haywood from being swallowed. but the footage captured is not clear enough due to poor lighting, and it would likely spark controversy if published. Therefore, to become a great photographer, Antlers decides to take a risk and tries to capture a close-up of the monster. He exposes his position deliberately, and sure enough, the monster charges at him. Although he manages to get a clear shot of the creature, he is also eaten. This reckless action ends up endangering Angel, who is nearly swallowed by the monster but escapes when a piece of plastic film wraps around him. The monster then notices Haywood's sister and charges at her. The immense suction throws her into the air, but she rolls into a safe area. As the monster transforms and grows larger, resembling a parachute, Haywood's sister must crawl and limp along the road in a desperate attempt to escape, while Haywood, seeing a nearby horse, decides to confront the monster. Meanwhile, his sister finds a motorbike, but when she tries to start it, she realizes it's electric and doesn't work due to the monster's presence, which causes electrical failures. Just as the monster is about to consume her, Haywood stares directly at it, provoking the beast, which gets increasingly agitated and changes its form continuously. Standing his ground, Haywood doesn't flee but confronts the creature with his gaze. As the monster draws nearer to Haywood and moves away from his sister, the motorbike suddenly starts, allowing her to escape. The roaring sound of the motorbike draws the monster's attention once again, and it starts chasing her. As she speeds away, she manages to outpace the monster, leading it back to the amusement park. There, she quickly hatches a plan involving a giant inflatable figure. She releases the figure, which rises into the sky, and picks up coins scattered on the ground to load into a hand-cranked camera. As the inflatable figure ascends, the infuriated monster swallows it, but the immense size of the inflatable exerts pressure inside the creature. Eventually, the internal pressure causes the monster to burst, ending its reign of terror.